Good afternoon, Greater Heartland. My name is Clark Kendall. I serve as your regional technology trainer. Today, we are talking opportunities, talking about pipeline to profit. So our goal today is to create an awareness around all that it can be held and the value that comes from opportunities beyond just compliance or getting paid through commissions. This is a great conversation that I love being able to lead because there's so much there that I think we haven't uncovered in opportunities. So I appreciate you being here today, carving out the time, whether you're tuning in live or you're watching this at a later date. And so while you're here, I do want to make this time purposeful for you. So if you're seeing opportunities and there's specific questions you have, please put them in the comments section, whether it's on Facebook Live or YouTube. We'll get those and we'll get those answered for you. And would love for those to be live for those who are watching to get great questions and feedback here. And also know that you can, of course, ask those questions later, and we'll get to those answers there for you. And a couple of other pieces about our technology here at Keller Williams. Yes, we've created an agent platform end-to-end to run your entire business that we call Command. And it is connected with the consumer experience, your current customers, you're converting into clients or past clients, and it all is integrated. However, you're not alone in this journey to figuring out the tech, your logins, and how to apply it to your business. Part in what we're doing in these trainings is connect the dots for you. And yet you also have an amazing Market Center tech trainer. Might be termed director of tech or director of innovation and tech in your Market Center, but someone whose purpose is understanding your business as it relates to the models that we know that grow a real estate business to heights they haven't been to before, and applying the technology that we have that is free and protects you as the agent to do so. So I love this conversation about opportunities because our goal as tech trainers is to make you more profitable, to save you time and to give you more money in your pocket. So know that your Market Center tech trainer is your boots on the ground person to walk through this journey with you and answer any questions that you have beyond this training or several other resources that we'll provide here. So another resource I want you to be aware of is answers.kw.com. I'm going to put a few articles in the training in the comment section as we go here, as you might want to dive deeper in some of these components. And so reference that. As tech trainers, we have those on speed dial and a tab always ready for us, as there's a lot to our platform that we don't want to miss. And it's our number one tool. And so encourage you to do so as well before reaching out to Market Center tech trainer for something that would be in there, right? Okay. So we're talking pipeline to profit. Here's what our conversation is going to look like today. I kind of gave you a little bit of a teaser, and our goal is to create and manage an opportunity to discover how it's more of a business tool and intended to be more of a business tool, even more so than it is Compliance Central or uploading your documents for approval and getting paid. Yes, it is those things. And we want to hopefully uncover how it can be an amazing business tool for you. All right. Well, here's our agenda. We're going to talk about what is an opportunity within this opportunities pipeline, the pipeline overview, creating an opportunity briefly, and also what does it look like to manage these opportunities. Let's go ahead and jump into this. If you've been on these trainings before, we talk a lot about this lead generation model. It's a fundamental model that we understand how real estate business flows. And so if we're revisiting this, that everything begins with lead generation. That's our number one job as agents, that we are prospecting and marketing for new business. And these people, these lives, these leads that are coming into our world, come into our database. And we connect with them at a deeper and deeper level to understand where we might be able to fulfill their needs as it pertains to real estate, right? Or as homeowners to protect their investment, their equity, right? So all this would be what's there in our database. We identify those people that are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. We're talking about the sales pipeline, and that's our conversation today. This bottom portion here of the three phases here, we're talking about the sales pipeline that we call opportunities in Command. So it's helpful to understand and remember these five sub phases, call them stages, I guess, if you'd like. We'll call them phases. But cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and close. Once somebody raises their hand, again, if they're in our database or a brand new lead that's coming to our world, how are we pre-qualifying them and understanding their readiness to make a real estate decision? If they at any point in that conversation, our discovery of or being curious of where they're at, we realize they're going to make a real estate decision, we have an opportunity. We want to create an opportunity in Command that begins and cultivates somebody that might be a few months away or maybe a year away. We want to put that create an opportunity to put it in our pipeline. So it begins there, and we'll visualize this and what it looks like in Command. This is a nice visual. Once they're in Cultivate, and we're continuing to touch base with them to understand if their readiness has maybe escalated a little bit, or if they're going to pull back a little bit, maybe wait a little bit longer. Yeah, we're looking to set that appointment to sit down in a consultative fashion to help them understand the buying or selling process, what this market is bearing in either one of those ventures or investing, whatever it might be, and set those expectations for them, and to hear their expectations of this process for us. Once we set that consultative appointment, we're going into active. They are our active clients. We are their fiduciary. We're their agent, the one to get them to the closing table. Of course, to get to the closing table, we have to go under contract, right? So depending on the market and the price point, whether a buyer or seller, this looks very different from going from active to under contract. We're still in a very high demand market in most areas. We've slowed down in that demand a little bit more recently. It is still very high demand, historically speaking. Yet while we're under contract, our goal is to provide an immense amount of value and fiduciary responsibilities to get to the closing table, right? Also, our goal in these opportunities is not only just to close them, but to keep them as clients for life, right? So once they're closed, they're going to go back in the database. We're going to continue to nurture those relationships. This is a Legion model. Maybe picture this, screenshot it if you'd like. This helps me understand, while we're talking about tech and Command, where in this flow of business are we going to be living today, our training on today? It's a sales pipeline. Once they've making a real estate decision, how do I best take action in Command? So let's go ahead and jump over into Command here. And before I get going too quickly, I am going to post a link in the chat, okay, in the comments section, this overarching link that has all the answers.kw.com articles on one page. All right. So there's a lot of sub articles here on this main page, yet they're categorized. You can see exactly what the title is or what the topic would be of each one of these articles. And yet, as we go through here, if I mention something, it will be accessible on that main link there. All right. As we go along, if there's a specific article to point out, I'll put that in the comments as well. If you have any questions about going deeper on any one of these pieces, please put in the comments section. All right. If there's not an answers.kw.com article, we will get you an answer and get you plugged in so you can get moving. Okay. So you can get other folks moving, your clients. All right. So let's go into Command here. Now I'm in a training account. So in this training account, my name is RTT Rainmaker. All right. So you should see your name in the top right-hand corner here. I'm going to go to my personal account. Majority of us as agents will have a personal account. However, if you're on a team, you will have a team account drop down here. If you are on a team, please bring this opportunities discussion to your team members, your teammates, to decide how you want to treat opportunities as a team. Every team member needs to get clarity on that, as there's certain rules and visibility permissions for every team member. Okay, but we're going to operate this as a solo agent who is looking to build out opportunities to understand it more. To begin in opportunities, there's a hard, fast rule. All right, before we have an opportunity, we have to have a person, right, or persons. All right, in order to have a client, we have to know those people. Or get the closing table, we have to have a client. So we have to create a contact first. Now I'm going to create a contact real fast here in our contacts here. I always love pointing out the magical button as you're learning Command. All the applets and tools are listed here on the left-hand side. And so I clicked on contacts here, and I'm going to create a contact real quick. I hit the add contact button here, and I'm on a little bit of a Marvel kick. So I'm going to type in Bruce Banner. I got his full name in here, and I'm also going to add a relationship here as a business partner of Tony Stark. All right. Now, if you tuned into our contacts portion training last week, you know that I can easily add business partners or spouses or any relationship here in quick fashion. But I do want to point this out as I type in Tony Stark. He's not currently in my database because I'm not seeing the options here. And if I hit add, then that automatically added Tony Stark as another contact. But now Bruce and Tony, as once I save this contact record, they're going to be connected in a relationship. And I'll show you what that looks like in opportunities. Here real quick, I'll just put in here the Hulk at kw.com. I don't believe that would be a real email. That would be really cool. And if you have that email or know that email, I'd like to meet that person. And we can fill all this other contact information out, right? I'll hold off on filling all this out as we talked about that last week. And I'm going to create this contact. All right. Then let me search for Bruce. Here's Bruce Banner. So now I'm in Bruce's contact record. All right. Now, know that we have to create a contact before the opportunity, right? There's a couple of places I can begin to create an opportunity. I'm not going to create one just yet, but while we're in this contact record, when we go to create an opportunity, know that there's this opportunities tab here on the right-hand side that I'm going to click on the opportunities tab and click create opportunity. It begins to allow me to create an opportunity or a transaction, opportunity to serve them to get them to the closing table. Right? If we're revisiting the idea of when we create an opportunity, if Bruce came to me, he was an open house or he's somebody in my database, we connected and said, yes, I'm looking to sell my home in 6 months. I'm going to his contact record and create an opportunity. Let's etch that in our minds. We don't want to forget about those opportunities and understand how we can capture that information and have a more effective business tool for ourselves. Right. So why do I stress so much about the importance of creating an opportunity right off the bat when somebody has communicated, shared with us, imparted that trust to us that they're going to make a real estate decision? Well, let's visit opportunities. Again, magic red square here. I'm in opportunities. Now I'm going to go in this personal opportunity here. You'll notice I do have a team opportunity pipeline. And here's my personal opportunity pipeline. Again, this is why it's important to have that team discussion if you're on a team. Are my opportunities going to team pipeline? Or are they going to go my personal pipeline? All right, we're not going to cover that today yet. Bring that conversation to your team. If you have questions, reach out to your Market Center tech trainer on that. But here we are in the opportunities pipeline. Quick overview here. You'll see these 3 rows here is listings, buyers, and leases. Each one of these are a separate pipeline intended to help you visualize the business, the potential and current business in that type of client. So in this example, listings, the green pipeline here, you'll realize we built out command on the models that we understand that top teams and top businesses are running. Cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, closed. Right? Look very similar to this model here. Cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, closed. Right? That's intended, based on the model, to have command mirror the MREA, or the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the great book that we know. All right, so I have these 5 phases in listings. I have those same 5 phases for buyers and also for leases. Now, leases, whether it's a landlord or a tenant, both go in this leases pipeline. But know that listings and buyers are separated out here. What else do we see in this pipeline? Well, under each little phase here, like in Cultivate, you'll notice I got some nice little icons. And for the Cultivate, I got a little growing plant. I'm cultivating this person to understand where they're at in the path to get to the closing table. And I have a little number under here. This little number here is the number of opportunities, okay, potential pieces of business, units, right, that are in waiting, getting ready to get to the appointment. Same here in your appointment, and you'll see I have 0 that are currently in the appointment phase, 2 that are in the active, 0 under contract, 0 closed. Right? On the buyer side, I have 0s across the board, at least in this training account. All right. So right off the bat, we can know the number of pieces of business that we have that are coming up. Generally speaking, right, that I know I have 4 listings that are sitting here. Some 4 people or parties of a transaction have told me that they're looking to sell at some point. All right. Now we can get more into details of when that is here in just a second, and I'll show you how to set that up. Yet I know that there's 4 listings that I potentially have that I need or help understand how I can best approach getting to an appointment. All right. You also notice here that we have a volume number. We have an average number of times on here. So each one of these phases has a collective volume based on when we create the opportunity. And I'll show you what calculates all this here in a second. We notice here 250,000 are sitting in listings. That would be listing price combined for those 4 properties. All right, so maybe a lower price point. But also see here under active, the 2 active listings that are currently listed. We have a total volume of 1.8 million. All right, so each one of these phases has a volume amount of respect or represented business in that phase. Far right, my favorite view here is kind of like the ultimate accountability. Right. On the far right-hand side here, you have this GCI section that tells you the potential income and the probable income. The potential income is always going to be higher, or at least equal to the probable income. The potential income is taking all these volume sums into one greater sum and putting in here on a GCI. Okay, so when we go to create this opportunity, we put the list price or the potential purchase price and also our expected commission from that transaction and calculate it as the greatest potential income as we understand it. Probable income is calculated as we move our opportunities through these phases. It will continue to increase or needs to increase to get closer and closer to that potential income. All right. So that's why you see here my potential income of almost 60,000 and my probable income is less than half of that because I have a good bit of business here. That is, I have 2 listings that aren't under contract right now. Right. So there's a probability they may not close, and even less likelihood probable listings that will get to closing here in Cultivate. All right. Same for buyers, same for leases. Now, to take a pause, think about how this could inform you, right? Or what this tells you about your business. If you're logging in right now, right, you might have been purposely putting these opportunities in here, or you might not have any, may not have created an opportunity at all yet, right? However, the reason why we're creating these opportunities is you want to be able to know what business is coming down the road, right? If you have goals, if you have a unit goal, you have a GCI goal, volume goal for the rest of this year or ramping up for 2022, we are going to have a business planning clinic in about a month. I believe that's October 20th, a national business planning clinic that's free for anyone to attend. So if you want more information on that, reach out to your market center leadership or ping us here on the Facebook or YouTube. We'll get you plugged in. And yet it's almost business planning time. All right. This is meant to inform you, to give you a checkpoint, a continual checkpoint. How am I doing based on the goals I set and the business I understand that I have currently as clients or under contract active or sitting in the hopper waiting to list or waiting to buy? How am I doing to hit my goals? Right. I'll say this. I don't know of a better real estate pipeline out there. All right. Now, there might be sales funnels out there or other pieces of technology that might work for the real estate agent, but know that this is a pipeline that focuses on your activities, right? What you as the professional, the sales representative, in our case, the real estate agent, does to get the person to closing. Sales funnel is different. Sales funnel focuses on the activities of that consumer or that client to get them all the way to the bottom of the funnel and get a sale. This is a pipeline for you as a business owner, right? So, so here we are, right? We've got this. If there's any questions about this view or how it kind of lays out, put them in the comment section. And yet, one thing that I do want to visit is let's jump into the Cultivate listings phase here. So you'll notice here the page kind of changed. At the top here, you'll see I'm in listings and in Cultivate. You'll see that highlighted. Zoom in there, listings, Cultivate. And you'll notice here that this little tab is highlighted because I'm in the Cultivate phase. You still see appointment, active, under contract, and closed. Yet what you do notice underneath this Cultivate phase that I clicked on, I have sub stages: watch, nurture, and hot. Now these will be set out for you as you log into your command for the first time. Yet know this: what I love about this opportunities pipeline, below Cultivate, appointment, active, and under contract, and closed, anything below these 5 is totally customizable by you. Okay. These 5 here are set: Cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, or close. Those are our structure within Keller Williams. Understand how we can live out the model from the lead generation model. Underneath that, you have free reign to construct this as you want. All right. Now, some of y'all may be like, yes, I get to create it myself. Let me just dive into it. Or on the other side, he might be like, what's the best way to do that? Right. What I love about our Keller Williams training community, our culture, even within each office, we get to ask, how are you doing this? How are you making your pipeline? How's it efficient for you? Ask that question to agents in your market center tech trainer. How are people using this based on their business, and go out and find a business that's similar to yours and how it's being worked out in here. So this watch, nurture, hot, we can completely customize this. And if I wanted to change this up, if I have a listing, somebody says, I'm looking to sell, I can hit the edit stages button. Might hit that a little quick here, but in the top right-hand corner, edit stages. If I click that, it brings me this other view. I have in this order, watch, nurture, hot, from top to bottom in this view, and from left to right in that sequence on my pipeline. So what do we see here? We see the names. We also have this attached probability, 5%, 7%, 10%. Take a guess what that feeds. What's that probable income on that first pipeline view, that colored view that we saw with the green listings, the orangish buyers, right? That probable income, it's calculated on this number here, right? So we'll revisit that here in a second. We also have this checklist. Yes, for each one of these for these sub stages, watch, nurture, hot, and any other sub stages under appointment, active client, under contract, you can have a checklist for every single, checkpoint of that transaction on the way. All right. Nice thing is here, I can reorder these. I can rename them if I choose. I can change the probability. All right. My recommendation, if you want to hear best practice, is put a timeline for these. If I've got watch in here, well, how long, what's that mean? What does watch? Give me a definition for that. 6 to 12 months might work. Okay. You saw another one there, 6 to 18 months. Right. I would put some timeline on these stages, especially if it's cultivate. So here we got nurture. You might say 3 to 6 months. Hot could be 0 to 3 months. Right. So you can rename these really easily. You might even decide, I want more than 3, or maybe I just want 1. It's up to you. You can delete these stages. You can also add one. I heard a great idea for a while, some time ago, timeline unknown. Right. Somebody came into my world, was an open house, said, yeah, we're looking to sell, but I don't know how quickly, but I got the information. I'm going to put them in as a contact in my database. I'm going to create an opportunity for them. And of course, if the timeline unknown, it probably makes sense to make that prior to watch, right? So that'd be a great idea of keeping all that business in there. All right, just some ideas. While we're here in checklist, know that you can create a list of items, to-dos, the value that you can add to this potential piece of business, this opportunity, as you best see fit. And this is where we get a lot of great ideas from the field. For sure, that it's as simple as hitting the number there, the items, and then building out your checklist. If it's timeline unknown, well, it's probably a good idea to know the transaction time frame, right? So I could save that list. I could create others. You can create unlimited checklist items here, which is great. Whatever you might have there, right? You can create those really easily. There is another piece here, client update. That's probably a little bit more 201 for opportunities. And yet, if you go to the link in the chat here, while we're on opportunities, it should be under client updates. Here it is at the bottom. So if you want to set up client updates as you're checking those little checklist items off, and you want an email automatically sent to your clients daily when you accomplish things for them, that's client updates. And it can be done and held within opportunities. So yes, not only a business pipeline tool to understand your business, you can have great communication within opportunities to your clients as well, right? Okay, so I'll save that to keep that there, and let's go back. So now you notice here that I'm still in Cultivate. My new stage was created to the left of Watch, and all that saved for me. We also know these cards that are kind of hanging out here. Al Pacino, Clark Kent, all kinds of Yogi Bear, all kinds of fun folks that are here. And yet each one of these cards is an opportunity. All right, now we haven't created an opportunity for Bruce Banner, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's create Bruce, and let's say if he's in my database, he said, I gave you an example, he's going to sell his house in 6 months. So what would that look like? Yes, I could go back to my contacts here and look up Bruce and create that opportunity directly from his contact card. Right. I'm also, while I'm in opportunities, at any point, I can hit this create opportunity button in the top right-hand corner and do the same thing. All right. So be aware that when you're creating this opportunity, if you happen to be in multiple market centers, you want to make sure you choose the right one. If you're on a team and you understand that conversation and the best policies or the procedures that you're going to take on the team, choose that correctly. Also, the opportunity type. Now, because I am in a listing opportunity, I'm in that listings cultivate phase, it did choose listings for me. Make sure you choose this right off the bat as well, because you won't be able to go back and change the opportunity type, nor for the market center or whether it's a team opportunity or not. We got to get this right on the beginning. The reason being is there's so many process and workflows afterward that this is the catalyst for so many things to come. All right, so make sure we get this right. No big deal if you actually create an opportunity and it's the wrong one. You can archive them. You can find out how to do that in the articles and delete them. Okay, so you can't really mess it up totally. Just be aware if you make that mistake, it's better to make it early on, because as you go further and further down in the opportunity, realize you maybe created this the wrong way. You might have the wrong compliance checklist, right? If you chose it as a buyer and all of a sudden you're trying to upload documents for for a buyer that's actually listing, right? That could be problematic. All right, so I'm going to choose this listing, and then I'm going to choose client. So I'll look here for Bruce. Again, the only folks that will pop up that are in my database. And what I really love about that relationship that I added as soon as I created that Bruce Banner contact record and I added the Tony Stark relationship, it's going to bring those up. So I don't even have to go searching for Tony. It says, you know what? Tony's related in some way or has a relationship with Bruce Banner as your member business partner. Then it'll quickly identify them. You're also going to have the opportunity name. If it's a listing, it would probably make sense to put the address in here. I'm not a super Marvel guru. I'm sure there's probably some trivia where Bruce Banner lives. If you know that, go ahead, put it in comments. It'd be fun to learn. But we're going to go with the most popular real estate address in the real estate training world, 123 Main Street. Know that you can tag these opportunities. If you remember, we did have contact tags. These opportunity tags are separate from those contact tags. This is how we're categorizing our opportunities. This could help you maybe identify lead source, where this opportunity came from, whether it's Sphere, Facebook lead, open house, right? You can create tags for that. You can also be purposeful in how the type of transaction it is, whether it's a VA loan or a first-time home buyer, right? You can create any tags. World's wide open there, okay, of custom tags. Estimated close date, give your best guess here. In this example, Bruce is 6 months away, which I guess we are pretty close to March, which is crazy to think about. We're talking 2022. Y'all are probably starting to talk with clients that are thinking 2022. And estimated list price, we'll go with easy math of 500,000, right? And commission rate, I'll go generic 3%. Know this commission rate, even though I might have a listing agreement or agency agreement with Bruce that might be 6%, this would be my side, assuming that there is a buyer agent that's going to come and bring the buyer. I'm going to make that assumption because this is one unit of business. All right. Now, if I were to also create if Bruce was going to buy a home as well, so we're going to sell and buy, list his home and help him buy the next one, I would create a separate opportunity that's a buyer opportunity for that. All right. So we got the listing commission rate there, 500,000. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put opportunity phase here and cultivate. All right. So you only have the first three options here. You can't put somebody under contract or closed when you first create an opportunity because there's compliance events that your market center has set forth. So we want to make sure we capture those. I'm going to put them in cultivate, and then you'll see all my now customized stages there. I'm going to put under nurture 3 to 6 months. All right. I'm going to go ahead and create that opportunity. When I create the opportunity, it's going to take me into that opportunity and all the details there. Everything on the left-hand side that you see here is everything that I filled out. We do have a fun little seller worksheet here. And we have a property address. So I would want, if I know that property right off the bat, I would want to add that there. Also know that you can easily get the property address filled out here. If you click the top select listings, this is connected to every single MLS and can find those addresses to bring in the information. Yet if I want to update the general information here, I would click the pencil and begin to fill everything else out. All right. Appointment schedule, appointment date, agreement one, contract date, all these pieces of information, which would be, I would probably deem necessary to understand, I would go back and fill those out as I discover those. Also know if you set your goals in Command, your appointment date does roll up to your goals. So if you're following the economic model to understand how many appointments you need to get certain listings or buyers and to get the closings and GCI, make sure you're filling out the appointment date. Also same for agreement one, contract date, and close date. All right. So I didn't make any changes there. I'm going to cancel. And so those are the details. All right. A couple of things to point out here. I can quickly get at the contact records up here at the top. Now, because I just created Tony Stark and I'm putting information in there, there's nothing there, but I can quickly go to the contact record here as well. But let's go. What I will show you here that I love, if I go to contacts where I created Bruce Banner, now if I go to the opportunities tab, here's that opportunity, 123 Main Street that I just created. Again, if I know he's going to buy, I would create another opportunity and put it as a buyer. What I love, love, love about Command and integrating our database in with our transactions, I'm able to have a complete record of every way that I've been able to serve Bruce or any client as it's listed here in Command. So every single opportunity, every transaction or potential transaction would be listed here. All right. Okay, so let's go back in this opportunity. And actually, I'm going to go back a little bit further. Let's look at what changed on our pipeline. You remember in Cultivate, it did say 4. Now I've added Bruce Banner, his opportunity, and my volume increased to, my unit increased to 1 up to 5, and my volume increased by 500,000 up to 750. All right. Now you also notice that my probable income inched up a little bit, like what, maybe $1,500 or something like that for GCI. Well, that's based on the probability. This is way early, and on the pipeline, my potential income increased by almost 15,000. Right. So it is all rolling up. This is all based on the list price or commission percentage. Same here, purchase price and commission percentage as we create the opportunity. Okay, so that's essentially when you create an opportunity where you can manage them. What I do want to help you understand is, as I go to find my opportunities, okay, it's easy for me to remember now. I've got Bruce Banner, Tony Stark. I just put them in Nurture, and here's my little opportunity card. Have you ever been in a Kanban system like Trello or anything else? It's very similar. I can take this card and move them forward. So if Bruce called me last week, says, hey, yeah, maybe we'll go 6 months, and then things change quickly. Maybe, that's time to sell the investment property or whatever it is here for Bruce and Tony. We're actually looking less. Like next month, I'd like to be at the closing table. All right. So I can move this card here, and I can also effectively do the same if I click on the opportunity and I go to details here. I can change those phases. I can put them in appointment, active under contract, or close, or any of those sub stages directly in those details as well. A couple places to manage those. All right. And I'm just going to check on the comments here. Quick reminder that you can put any questions that you have so far. Also know that when we created those checklists, can be managed for every single transaction. When I first showed you how to create those checklists, that was the template. So now if I go here into the checklist here, a couple places to get the checklist just for Bruce and Tony. If I click on these 3 little dots, a little pop-up window says, hey, what do I need to do for this opportunity? While they're in hot, what do I need to do? Add a saved search, download the app, order photos. Okay, as an example, I can check these off as I go. So let's say I've done the first 2. Now I've got 2 out of 3 done. What is nice about this is if I go in here and I actually set a due date for each one of these. So let's say I'm going to set a due date to order photos on September 16th, right, by 2 p.m. When I close that, all right, I still have 2 out of 3 done. If you set due dates to every single one of those checklists, when I go into task here, I'm just going to open this in a new tab to not lose my spot. And I go to opportunity tasks here. All right, thank you. And we got a lot of opportunity tasks here. I'm going to go in the next 7 days. There we go. Next 7 days, because we're a couple days out. There's Bruce Banner. and there's the activity. I can check it off as complete, snooze it for later, or just delete it. Right. So the nice thing is if you are setting these due dates and you want to go in and say, you know what do I have to do on a transaction? If I'm opening up this digital manila folder and doing my checklist, if you set due dates for here and go to your all opportunities tasks, you're going to see those. Okay. Not only for what is possibly I got to do today, but if I got some extra time, you know what? Is there anything I can do to get knocked out ahead of time? Okay. I'll go back to the opportunity here. While we're on those checklists, know that if I can also find those checklists if I click on the opportunity, and I've got these, I've got the button here to actually check those off in the same spot. We also added recently, every single opportunity will show you whether client updates are off or on. That's been very helpful. But while we're here, a couple of did you knows. If you're on a team, now I know we're not having a teams, but I always love to point this out. If you have team opportunities and you're creating an opportunity that other people are on, there's a little button here in the top right-hand corner that says discussion. And that discussion is really cool because it's like a forum just for that opportunity or a conversation you have about an opportunity that any team member that is a part of that transaction that's going to have their hands on the transaction can see the conversation. You can even mention people and they'll get alerted through their command notifications and Kelly notifications on that. Pretty cool. All right. But another little, I guess, visiting this layout here of opportunities, seller profile. I think we often skip past this one. Yet I love that there is a task list that said, hey, download the app and have them register, because if that occurs, if Tony and Bruce download the app and they're registered with the correct email address here, it will say registered with a consumer platform. And what I'm able to do for them, and this isn't a conversation about the consumer app, as much as I love having that conversation because it's really cool and you can provide amazing value. There's something called a guide in the consumer app. You can totally customize or use right out of the box a step-by-step buyer's guide, the whole process, and seller's guide. Once they download the app and they register, if you create an opportunity for them, it's going to show them either where they've marked off each step or where you can mark it off for them. All right. So imagine a world where Bruce downloads my app, and as he's going through the process, I can check off those steps for him. He can go in his app and see what's next or see how things went. All right. Really, really amazing way to have high communication, to always, if we're having these conversations in the beginning at the consulting table, we can even use the app as a guide. Say, hey, here's the whole process. Everything we just talked about is in this app. And I'll check these off for you as we go, so you always are reminded of what's coming. Right? Really great tool. Way too often overlooked and not used a lot. So please spread the word. Like, you hear that? Like, did you know? Please spread that, because it's amazing. Documents. We will hold this off probably for now, and yet this upcoming Thursday, we'll talk about compliance and DocuSign. This is where your entire, if your market center, if they're completing a compliance through command, which it's not 100% yet, I think the majority of our market centers are. If you're submitting documents for approval to get to the closing table, this is where it's done. This is where you can integrate with DocuSign, of course, our preferred vendor, Dotloop as well, if that's your choice. And you can also manually upload documents, submit them. There's even some other cool functionalities coming in here that we're excited about that we'll share later. Some PDF management. I'll put it as that. We're excited. So we'll hold off on that. But offers, commissions. This is also where you would create an offer and you would accept an offer in order to move forward to a commission. So this is all the financial information you need to put in here in order to submit, to get your payout. Right? This right here, being in command and being central to where you operate your business. This also allows us for our amazing market center administrators or assistant market center administrators to have payouts when they cut the check to you or the direct deposit in your account so quickly, is because it's right here and it's so easy. It really is. You can also put notes in here, just notes of the transaction. Our solo agents use this a lot as they don't have the team opportunities. Also the timeline. So every little single task that I took in this opportunity so far, every checklist item I checked off, everything I added, it's been included in this timeline. So I love seeing that overall view. All right. A question we often get here is lost opportunity. Okay. If you happen to create an opportunity by mistake, right? Say I created this opportunity and this is a listing, but accidentally created as a buyer opportunity. I would not choose this lost opportunity here. Okay. I would archive that opportunity. Know that this lost opportunity toggle is going to keep the opportunity, but it's understood as it's a piece of business that was a viable piece of business that fell through. Whether it was they thought they were ready and they got cold feet and didn't want to move, or they realized that they don't have that job. They didn't accept that job because it just wasn't the right fit. That's a lost opportunity. Or mutual release and the sellers got tired and just want to take their home off the market. That's a lost opportunity. Right. So archive is not lost. This would be a viable piece of business that never came to fruition. Right. Okay. So that is an overview of the pipeline and the stages and the checklist and how to manage those as you go along. And that's the bulk of what opportunities really, really is. I know that as I click on every single one of these lists, these phases, they each have their stages. So be purposeful with that. A couple of things, did you knows to add here that I think are often overlooked. One would be that the buyer and seller profile that's connected with the app. That's very much often overlooked. Oftentimes, and if you are getting very purposeful with this, I mean, we have some agents that have emerging businesses that are really filling up the pipeline. I mean, they're getting into the activities, they're getting to know their database, asking for referrals, meeting new folks at open houses, door knocking, getting after it. They're connecting with people. Amazing, right? That want to actually transact in real estate, and they're trusting that hard work and effort and trust that they built. So this is filling up. Now, think about this. Instead of having 5 and 0 here, that I've got 25 listings here in Cultivate, and I've got 40 buyers here in Cultivate. That's a lot of people I've connected with. It might be difficult as time goes on, like, oh, where was Bruce and Tony? Were they hot or watch? I can't remember. Oh, wait, which of my listings do I need to have a consultation for, an appointment? Which ones are active? Know that this view right here is for you as a business owner. Now, if you're getting ready to do work, right, you're going to be working in the business, your all opportunities view here is a magical piece to just go in and do the work. And this is where I also consider it opening that digital manila folder and understanding what needs to happen in each transaction. So if you click on all opportunities here, this is in list view. Maybe consider it like the whiteboards that we have listed in the office, on our physical offices on the walls, right? But this is every opportunity I've ever created. The nice thing is I can create filters here, and I can decide on my market center, I want to see all my listings that are currently in Cultivate, because I've got 40 buyers and I got to get some of these folks moving, right? Because I've also got agents in my office that have a lot of buyers, right? That's a true story, too close to home right now for a lot of us. And you can select the team here, but the idea here is I can filter all this out and apply it, and it's going to show me all of those opportunities. Now, be aware, because I'm on a team and I have my personal, this is showing a lot of the team opportunities as well. If I were to filter this, and it does have the team there, listing opportunities. Oh, that's why, because I also have under Cultivate, it's listing them all. Yep. But this is a list of all the opportunities that are under listing in Cultivate. Okay. Now, what I also like about this is that a lot of these are probably also lost opportunities of displaying that. So no big deal there. I can create a smart view. All right. So if I wanted a filter that said, I want to be able to see all my buyers and sellers that are currently active or under contract. These are the folks that I'm their fiduciary. I'm committed to getting them to the closing table. Pending is here. This will be phased out eventually. We were going to include a pending phase, so that's not necessary to click on. But I click active and under contract, and I apply those. All right, here's my view of all my active clients. If I like this view, then I can create a smart view here and say current clients, I can set this as a default smart view so that anytime I click on all opportunities, this would be the view that showed. I don't have to do that filter every time, or I don't have to make it a default. I could just save it. And then let's say I'm in my tasks, or, I'm filling out a cool Facebook campaign, and yet I also know, like, oh, okay, I know I got a time block to go work on my current active clients. I go back here in opportunities, click on all opportunities, current client, which is hanging out here. And there it is. All my current clients. This all opportunities will save you time if you're purposeful, right? So can't recommend going here. This is a great business tool to say, how am I doing? Am I hitting my goals? Am I on track? Very visually. But this all opportunities is getting the transaction coordination work done. Right? This is your view to do that. All right. So that's about wrapped up for all of our opportunities here and getting to understand them. And so if you have any other questions, again, last call there for any questions that you have, put them in the comments section here. Or if you are thinking about this, you want to come back and watch it and have more questions, put them in the comments. We'll still get to them. Reach out to your Market Center tech trainers. They have hearts for your business and hearts for tech. Bring them along in the journey. They're a wonderful, wonderful community. So it's been a pleasure and being with you today. Clark Kendall, Regional Tech Trainer, Greater Heartland. Hope to catch you soon. This Thursday, September 16th, we'll walk through compliance and opportunities and DocuSign, scratching the surface there, and a myriad of other training. So like and follow the page, share it out. We'd love to see more of y'all here. Take care.